Today I'm going to be reviewing this new drone from Holy Stone. This is the HS360S. This is a 249 gram brushless GPS drone, and probably the best thing about it is it features a new to Holy Stone video transmission technology. This is similar to what DJI, Autel, and FIMI will use on their drones. Instead of being Wi-Fi based, it's going to bring the signal in through the controller and then transmit it to your phone through a USB cable. This will give you much better range, and it'll also not be as laggy as you see on Wi-Fi based systems. Now, it doesn't have a gimbal. It's just a tilt camera on this guy. It does use a TF or micro SD card slot on the side here that supports up to 128 gigabytes, right where my index finger is there. Now, if you take off the little, they call it a gimbal guard, but I like to think of a gimbal as a stabilized gimbal. It will just tilt 90 degrees. And it shoots 4K at 20 frames per second. So not the greatest frame rate. Unfortunately, inside the app, you cannot change that rate to anything like 1080p or 720p, which would give you a higher frame rate. Now, they also give you some smart features that are sort of been new, like the 720R I recently reviewed, which unfortunately doesn't have this video transmission technology, though it still has 3-kilometer range advertised on Wi-Fi. It has like time-lapse and panoramic modes. It has the droney, which they call catapult, and it has a rocket mode. So it has some of those new modes, along with your follow me, circle me, spiral mode it has. And it has like an active or dynamic tracking mode they call image follow that will just use the app to follow you. That's going to be tough in this review to cover all those just in terms of battery time, because you get a 2S LiPo in here. Get the battery out. 7.4 volts, 1500 milliamp hours. So the advertised flight time is 20 minutes. Again, that's always under the perfect conditions, so we probably figure 15 probably is more realistic. So it's gonna be tough to be able to review all those things in this video. Now, it charges off of a USB-C. I keep wanting to say micro USB-C cable. And they do give you a cable to charge that, because the controllers I'll show you in a minute also charges by USB-C. Now, they do give you a USB-C cable with the controller. They give you also a lightning cable and a micro USB cable, depending on what kind of phone you have, to be able to plug it in for the video transmission. Now, it comes with the USB-C already attached, since that's sort of the most common connector with Android phones now. And as you can see, this controller looks very familiar. Looks a lot like the little controllers that DJI uses for the Mini 2, Mini 3. This little controller is awesome. And I'll show you one here that I use with my Mini 2. You can see here, these are very, very similar. Very similar in size, width, and construction. The DJI feels a little bit better quality, which you'd expect, but this is not bad at all. Just a really nice form factor to hold in your hands. It does have, just like the DJI, they give you some little places to pop in your gimbal sticks. So you can unscrew this, and you can just pop it in here in the bottom and store it, and then take it back out and put it back on. So nice and handy, and also protects your gimbal sticks from getting caught up or potentially damaged by being able to remove them. Now, your phone's going to go up top, and of course that's what the cable is going to attach in. So like this. And then you have some other buttons. You have your GPS return to home here. This is your video button. Over here on the right is your photo, and above that is your speed rates. There's 3 rates. There's a slowest, which is their photography or video filming mode. Your middle is your standard rate, which they call normal, and that's the rate that it flies in when you take off. And then the highest rate is with the sport mode, or the fastest rate. Up on the top here, you have some dials. Now, on the right side here, if you're holding the controller this way, it'd be right. To your guy's left, this is to tilt the camera when you're flying around, to look down and back forward. And this one here is, over here is a zoom. Now, sometimes these drones will have a little dial that's your EV exposure, but this is actually your zoom. It's just a digital zoom in the app that lets you zoom in and back out. I'm pretty sure that is just the app that does that. It doesn't actually film the zoomed in because it's a digital zoom. So I'd be shocked if it actually filmed as a drone. I've not flown this drone yet, so that's why I'm not saying that with 100% certainty on that. They give you a nice carrying case. You know, Holy Stone's always known for providing nice carrying cases here. Get this little piece of foam out of the way, and you can see where everything will insert inside of there. So you can just take this with you, grab the handle, and go, and you don't have to worry about lugging around in a backpack or a Walmart bag or something, or just trying to clumsily walk around and dropping everything. So it's always nice that they do give you a bag. They also give you all the cables and things you need. This bag has your spare props and a Phillips screwdriver. This one here is going to give you the charging cable to charge both the controller and the battery. You'll plug it into the USB, so it's going to be slow. You charge the controller here, and then the battery, like I think I mentioned a while ago, you charge up here. And then they give you, this has your other cables for iPhone and micro USB on this guy. So this ought to be a fun one to fly because it has that great video transmission. It's lightweight, you don't have to register it. And I just heard it really flies great. Just don't expect a lot from the video. Though I do think photos will probably be pretty decent because they are 4K resolution photos. All right, enough jib-jabbing. Let's get outside and fly this drone and see how it does. Okay, let's get the HS360S Spydi up in the air. Now I'm gonna try to fly it out there towards some of those objects out there. That's about a half a kilometer. Of course, this had advertised range of about three kilometers. So like, you know, what, 6 times that range, but you don't want to fly it too far, especially in the US where you need to try to keep it in line of sight. Now, first thing you want to do is take it up and just get a few photos, because I think that's going to be its strong suit because there's no stabilization on that camera. So the video is going to be a bit shaky, and then we'll test and return to home and get some of those smart features tested out on this guy. Now I already did the compass calibration. That's really simple. You have both sticks up and inboard, and then it brings up an app, and you just do a couple rotations horizontal and a couple with it nose up vertical. The app doesn't tell me to do a compass calibration, and that's kind of strange. So when you get this drone, make sure you do the compass calibration at very least the first time you fly. Otherwise it's going to probably toilet bowl, and it could even fly off and return to home because it's just confused at which way is magnetic north. So keep that in mind. All right, let's go ahead and do an auto takeoff. Again, I'm not going to start filming yet. I got screen recording going here. We're going to just take some photos first. Let's make sure we are in photo mode. Let's go ahead and let's see. I think it's both sticks down and in. We'll do the motor unlock. And let's do the auto takeoff. There's a bit of a breeze at my back going from right to left, and the drone seems to be doing a pretty good job. Now we are in the normal speed rate. Now we're in sport mode. I'm going to put it in sport mode because of this wind. Let's just take it up here and take a few photos first. Let's just take a photo off here into the west. Let's go ahead and press the photo. And let's take another one off this other direction here. Take it off to the north. Wait for it to kind of stabilize there. And it's, you know, there's going to be a bit of a tilt. You see it wobbling. Get a photo there. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring it back here, land it real quick so we can sync up the video. We'll take it out here. And get it out there and do a little bit of it, not a true range test, but you know. Let's go ahead and we're going to switch it to video, but it should switch it when you press the button on the controller as well. Let's go ahead and do that. Unlock the motors. Let's start pressing the video, and now we're recording. Let's go ahead and do an auto takeoff. Let's just send it. I think we are in sport mode still because we didn't turn the motors off, so we should be pretty good. I'm going to try to step into the edge of my garage here because we've got a lot of glare. I can still see it there. We'll stop for just a moment as I keep my eyes on it. And there, that's going to be a bit better if I get back in here. It's going to make it harder for see anything from the head cam, but let's go ahead and send it out there. Let's get it a little bit higher in elevation too. Looks like we're out. Now, I think I have it in, yeah, I've got it in feet because it says 500, 600. We're not 600 meters because that would be to the fairgrounds. So I believe I already switched that in the app. The upper right hand corner, I'll try to show you guys in a minute. That's where you can change some settings, including the imperial to metric, I believe is in there. Yeah, we got a rock solid video feed. Just a lot of wobbles as you're gonna get. There we can see now I'm getting a little bit of break up there. Not anything bad, but more than I would have liked, considering that this is supposed to have 3-kilometer range. So yeah, it's kind of frozen there, and we're out. I mean, it's not frozen, it came back, but it's not as good here as I kind of hoped. I mean, this is unobstructed. There's nothing in my way. Now, I've got a feed here again. I was able to fly the 720R out this far. Let's put the gimbal down some. Now we got it all the way down. But yeah, we're out, you know, we're not out super far here. And now we're back down looking at the ground. Now we get it back up. There we go. So we're out about 1,300 feet. And yes, there is absolutely some freezes, and that's a bit unfortunate. Usually, you know, the drone is facing away from me, and usually that is ideal because a lot of times the antennas are towards the back. So you expect us to do this more often whenever you are facing towards yourself. All right, like I said, we'll get out here about 1,500 feet. We're moving forward here. This is getting close to a 0.5 kilometer. I'm not up super high either. I'm only up about 350 feet, but you got to stay below 400. If you're going to try to go 3 kilometers, you're going to have to go above the 400 feet limit here in the US, so keep that in mind. But you should be able to go a 0.5 kilometer here, and I got a pretty good feed now without having to exceed the 400. All right, we're going to come up on 2,000 feet, so we're out close to a 0.5 mile. Let's go ahead and send it back home, because I'd like to have some battery here to test at least some of these smart features. So it's just turned around, it's facing towards me now, and now it's coming back. We'll see how good it does at landing here. Hopefully it doesn't get close to this block I got sitting here in the rocks. If it does, I'll have to manually correct it, so I don't want that to land and the props get eaten up as it hits that little block sitting there. Now this is in sport mode, and like I said, there's some wind, but I'm not flying into a headwind either direction. It's a crosswind, so it's taking its time coming back, but it's moving. So once it comes back and lands, then we'll take it up and try to test like the spiral, rocket, catapult. I don't know if I'll have time for the time lapse or panoramic modes. We'll see how the battery does, because you got to figure this is probably going to have more like 15 to 16 minute flight time, and you know the wind is going to decrease that some as well. So just trying to locate it here. It should be visible coming up here somewhere along this dark cloud. As I can see, it's going to be somewhere right up in here. And this is a pretty small drone. Here it is. There it is. Almost looks like a bird. Call them birds for that reason. And here it comes, and we'll get it to see how accurate it lands. There it is. My parents are coming right now, so they'll probably start talking to me as I come in here and park. And it looks like it's going to turn around and face away, and now it's going to start landing. So here it comes. Let's see how accurate it is. It's slow. It takes its time, that's for certain. Lots of these altitude hold drones do. Let's just see how accurate it is landing. It's going to be off by probably a good 6 feet. It's going to land on this tall grass. And there it is. All right, let's go ahead and take it back up now and just test a few of those modes that we have over here. So let's go ahead and unlock the motors. I'm just going to manually send it up by just giving it some throttle. Okay. Okay, let's see. We go over here into these modes. Now we've got, I'm not going to mess with follow me and anything like that today because we're not going to have the time, because those modes are pretty standard mode you see on any GPS drone. Let's try this catapult mode and let's slide it and see if it will take off. And there it goes. And we'll see. I don't think this will fly back to the location it took off from like some of them do. So we'll have to see. All right, let's go ahead and bring it down. I can. And it did return back to its home spot. That's nice. Okay, let's try. Let's try the rocket mode. Now I'm going to send it up over us and put the camera straight down. And let's try this rocket. And I believe it is recording. So this one should be recording a clip. I said the last one, if it didn't record it, then we'll just use a screen recording. And it does appear that the drone will come back to the start point. Let's confirm that here. It looked like it did it on the last one. It's right above us. And I think it's done recording and it's just going to come back down. I like that it comes back to the start point. Here is that gear icon where you guys can see in here. I've got the flight and the altitude, distance, and all that set to max, and the beginner's mode is turned off. Let's go ahead and try the spiral mode. Let's just take it up so we're above the houses here. So this first, the rocket and which is the droning and the rocket modes work pretty good. Again, we're just limited here with the fact that we don't have a gimbal on this drone. So just parking it up there, and we're going to have it go in a spiral. So it should start going in a circle and then start going higher. Like yeah, it should go like a funnel, but go upwards. It should go in a circle but gain altitude. Yeah. And it's not easy to look up without getting dizzy. Yeah. But here it goes, and it should be recording video, and it is. And you can see it's getting higher, and I think it should fly back around to where it started out. That worked really, really well. And we're just got the camera face down. Let's face it up a little bit here. And there it ended up right there. So, okay. Let's see now, what other kind of modes can we test here? It's still doing, it was still in that mode. Then we have like the time lapse and the time lapse and the panoramic modes, I think, are over. Let's see, no, that's camera adjustment. Is over here in the video modes. So now we got low battery, so we won't have time for that. I don't know, again, if we got any time lapse there. That's something I wasn't going to really mess with in this video, so hopefully you guys understand that. I was really wanting to just basically do a couple of the newer smart modes. Let's go ahead and land it here, and we'll end this video. Just gonna land it right here. All right, guys, that should wrap up the video. Everything worked pretty good with this drone. So if you're interested in this drone, I'll have a purchase link down in the video description along with any coupons I might have. while you're at it, you know, click that bell. That way you're notified every time I do upload a new video. And as always, guys, have a great day.
The power of the dark side.